What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mobile video. So today we are going to be discussing the newly released GROZA legendary skin, which is called the Severed Flowers. This was a video that I wasn't really expecting to make until probably 2 weeks later down the line, mainly because, the release dates for this season for a lot of legendary skins as well as the Siren Mythic skin have kind of just been all over the place. They keep rescheduling, they keep changing the dates. So I don't really ever get a clear picture on when exactly these legendary skins are going to be releasing. This is something that is not normally like a normal thing for a lot of legendary skins. They usually come out as scheduled, but this time around it's a little weirder. So rumor has it that this legendary skin was actually supposed to come out around January 11th or January 9th, around those dates. So yes, it was supposed to be a little bit later down the line, but instead we ended up getting it for today, the 31st. So originally with the GROZA, I was a little bit hesitant on picking this one up because, the GROZA, it's a pretty good weapon as of right now, but obviously it's not one of the best ones. I would say, if anything, it kind of resembles somewhat of a nerfed Growl. But at the end of the day, I ended up picking it up because I will be honest, the Growl's iron sights, as cool as they were for the time, it just wasn't really working out for me. It always felt really awkward using this gun, and honestly, I really do like using it because, it does have a good time to kill, and it's very effective towards people, including those that, may use the Growl. The problem is that the iron sights were built, well, I guess that's how they actually came. In Cold War, they were exactly the same way. However, they had better access to, like, red dots and everything, but in this game, since it's a lot... it's very iron sight friendly. I'm not a person that usually likes to use red dot sights unless it's absolutely necessary. And I felt like with this one, it was kind of necessary because the moment I put a red dot, it felt a lot better. Obviously, I didn't want to use a red dot. I wanted to save, a slot. So I guess I had to, go the pay to win route and go with the Severed Flowers. And it's not like the iron sight for the original weapon was, I guess, horrible by any means. It was very manageable, but I don't know, the way the gun just felt extremely weird. But when I do have this legendary skin, it does feel a little bit more comfortable, but, not to the point where it's such a huge difference that it's like a new gun. So talking about the appearance, like I said, it makes the gun feel a little bit less awkward. That's probably because, the top design of it, where the iron sight lays, is not as, I guess, intrusive as it is with, just using the base one. There are parts that are, like, I guess, cut off, and I guess it makes it feel a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, the iron sight still is, I guess, nearly identical to the original, but without all that huge clutter on the sides. So the basic design is basically kind of like a glossy black design with, just flowers that are etched all over the weapon. It's kind of like this more, I guess, unique, but at the same time kind of like fancy and, very, I guess, feminine as well, given the fact that the character for this draw is RIN YOSHIDA. And I'm not really one to talk about character skins that often since I really don't care about them, but the history behind this one is actually quite interesting, and I will get that at the end of the video. So probably one of the bigger downer effects I do want to talk about first is probably the shooting sounds. So the shooting sounds for this gun isn't really that great. It sounds like a basic GROZA, I would say. Just a slightly modified sound, but nothing to the point where it screams, legendary. It's not until, of course, you either reload the weapon or you inspect it where you get to hear those fancier noises. I feel like they could have done a little bit more effort when it comes to legendary skin. I know, they always make the gun sounds more pronounced if they're mythics or legacies, but it would have been nice to at the very least have some sort of like different type of sound effect that makes it stand out a little more. The particle effects around the weapon are pretty cool as well. I would say they're a lot more pronounced than most legendaries that we do get nowadays. That was one of those things I was afraid of, buying this thing. When I was looking at the leaks, it didn't look like it was that well designed. Yeah, it looked fancy, but when it came to like other stuff like reactive effects, that's something I didn't really pay too much attention on. I'm not sure if they updated the game, somewhere midway and added those effects, but yeah, I don't really remember seeing those effects out there. Keep in mind, they're, the leaks usually show them in the training lobby, just, showing off the death effects and the sound effects, but I don't really pay too much attention to like the actual outer effects. But overall, the skin is actually pretty good. I mean, it's pretty above average, I would say. And, you know, talking about the camo coverage, which I actually almost forgot to talk about, given that there's not really a lot of camos for this gun since, you know, it just came out this season, we only have Ether Crystal and that new Ice Lock camo. The camo coverage overall, when it comes to even completionist camos, is actually pretty superb. I will say that. It basically covers the entire skin, as you're seeing right now with Ether Crystal. But yeah, of course, for all of you guys that are, I guess, focused on the GROZA, or you guys are, you know, working leaderboards, I'm sure some of you guys that are very dedicated are going to buy it. But of course, the choice is yours whether or not you actually want to pick it up. Who knows, this gun may get buffed in the future. As for Season 1, not yet, obviously, because the devs haven't really gotten a lot of input on the weapon. So yeah, it's probably going to take a little bit longer. Hopefully around maybe Season 2, we might get some sort of buff to this weapon, especially with the recoil. But yeah, now that we're done actually talking about the skin, I do want to talk about RIN YOSHIDA for a second. So the bio says, raised in the Yakuza, RIN YOSHIDA is both a skilled leader and a gifted weaponsmith. Having designed nearly all of Kurohana's best weapon models, she is as ruthless and deadly as the weapon she makes. So I know this is kind of like out of nowhere, given the fact that I never talk about characters and their bios, but this one is kind of important because it gives you an idea of how a lot of the Kurohana weapons are actually made. So for example, you know, the one that came out for the ranked mode, which is the DRH Kurohana 68, now we kind of have an idea who actually designed the weapon, at least when it comes to the story. So any Kurohana weapon that may come out in the future, or if the Kurohana is like the main theme of just every ranked year, maybe perhaps she's the one that's responsible for making all those types of skins. But yeah, it's pretty interesting information. It does have something to do with, you know, legendary skins that may be released in the future. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD mode content. I'll see you guys next time.